What's going on, fight fans? This is Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Rob Jarrell, and this is my initial reaction to UFC 229 that happened today in Moscow. It was a very exciting night. We got plenty of fights, plenty of knockouts, crazy fights, and of course a crazy ending to the main event, which featured Conor McGregor taking on Khabib Nurmagomedov. So before we go into that fight, let's start with a few of the undercards. Michelle Waterson got a unanimous decision over her opponent. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, got a crazy come from behind one punch knockout. Well, it was almost one punch, but knockout with a right hand, which in a fight that he was clearly losing against the taller Alexander Volkov. Alexander Volkov was pretty much able to outbox him and pretty much impose his will to the end. I don't know if he got tired or Derek Lewis just really needed that knockout and he came through. And check out his interview at the end. That joint was hilarious. OSA Prue loss. And then let's go to the co-main event, that featured Anthony Showtime Pettis versus Tony Ferguson. In a very, very, very high-level, entertaining, and weird fight between two guys who have very unorthodox styles based off of their personalities and their abilities. We saw in this fight that Tony Ferguson was very willing to stand up and throw punches from crazy angles and just really let his hands fly, pushing Pettis against the cage consistently throughout the fight. Whereas Pettis, who is not the greatest boxer, was more so willing to counterpunch or counter everything that Tony Ferguson threw. They both threw very crazy looking unorthodox shots from various stances, from various angles, and we got a little bit of showboating and entertainment from both guys. Anthony Pettis threw a kick followed up by a right hand that landed and hurt Tony Ferguson, which pushed him in, I believe, the second round. But Tony Ferguson was able to weather the storm, and between them both of them, I believe it was Anthony Pettis who actually got the cut over his eye. But both of them, they just kept on going. Tony Ferguson was able to work to his feet. There was a stoppage in the action to review the cut from Pettis, but that gave both the guys enough time to rest, especially Ferguson, where, again, he was shooting a lot of shots from the outside. He took a shot where he jumped off the rope, jumped off the cage for a Superman punch. But you also have Anthony Pettis, who threw a capoeira kick and did something else that was just crazy. But the guys, they just wanted to make a good, entertaining fight that was very wild. It's not a fight like this where it was a lot of bad blood and was like, oh, but it was competitive. But it seemed like both guys were really having fun out there. And I believe that Tony Ferguson got the win as Anthony Pettis. I thought Tony Ferguson was winning the fight, but Anthony Pettis, I believe, actually broke his hand at the same time. So he couldn't continue in the fight. But it was highly entertaining. If you didn't watch it, when it comes out to watch it on regular TV, check it out. You will not be disappointed. Everyone was where I was at. Everyone was having fun. Now we're moving on to the main event. This main event featured Conor McGregor coming back after a very long layoff versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is undefeated Russian from Dagestan, who is always super hungry. Champ and no champ, he is hungry. He will fight pretty much anyone that you put in front of him, and he's a tad bit crazy. A different kind of crazy from Conor McGregor, who is crazy in his own right, but he's a different kind of crazy. And what do we get? I'm going to be honest, this fight was not competitive. Khabib pretty much did 90% of what he wanted in this fight. And considering that Conor hasn't fought in over a year, and that was against Floyd Mayweather, in over 2 years in MMA. That is a huge problem for the notorious Conor McGregor, because you could tell in his fight that either his conditioning was off, his fighting instincts was off, and he was rusty. And coming in against a guy like Khabib Nurmagomedov, who was actually beating Conor to the punch standing up, I think he was a bit wary about the boxing, as Conor McGregor tried to shoot from the outside, tried to fight, and did come forward in the first 2 minutes. But Khabib, again, has improved with his stand up, taking on a guy in Conor McGregor who really didn't seem all of that much motivated in his fight. He seemed like he got comfortable. He seemed like his condition wasn't there. He was just kind of there for the paycheck, and that is not a good thing for this fight. Because as soon as Khabib took him down, he was pressing him, and he pretty much had him in position on his back or against the cage all night. And even when he got back up to the feet, I believe in the second round, Khabib was able to hit him with the right hand and several right hands and really, again, beat him to the punch, kind of pop in against the guy with the longer wingspan. And not only is Khabib stronger, but he has a much higher motor than Conor McGregor, and that has always been a knock on him. In the third round, it seemed like Khabib was actually taking that round off, which actually should have given Conor McGregor a little bit of confidence and a little bit of rest. And his coach should have actually been like, hey, he's not charging at you. He's not attempting to take you down, especially in those first 3 to 4 minutes, where he should have taken advantage of the fact that Khabib was not moving forward as much, that Khabib was not shooting for the takedown, that Khabib wasn't letting his hand go. And while Conor was boxing, he was throwing kicks, but the kicks weren't even really that sharp. They had nothing on them. The aim was off. And against a guy like Khabib, I want to take his legs away. He should have kicked his legs from up under him as much as he could. And maybe he was worried about Khabib quickly shooting when he threw the kick. But if you throw it strong enough and it's on point, you don't have to worry about that. And I hate to say it, but Conor McGregor needs to leave MMA altogether, enjoy the $100 million that he makes. He made, sell his vodka, jump into the WWE or in the movies or something before he gets hurt in MMA, because there's a lot of guys at 155 pounds that are super hungry, that are willing to take him down. You have Tony Ferguson, you have Kevin Lee, you have Dustin Poirier, who would love to get a rematch for him against him. You have Jose Aldo, you have who am I missing? Tell me whoever you think. But that's not good on that. And in the fourth round, you could tell that Conor, while he was fighting, wanted out. You could see it on his face. It was just, he was trying to keep Khabib from getting top position to get that ground and pound. He was pretty much held in place until Khabib was able to maneuver himself for a rear naked choke, which Conor was actually trying to keep him from doing. But with that motor, that strength, and the fact that he's fought consistently over the last 2 years, while Conor hasn't, pretty much spelled the end of the night. And Conor ended up tapping in the fourth round. And then we get the melee. It looks like Khabib was talking crap. He spit on Conor McGregor, walked over to talk to his team. You know, he won to celebrate. And then he got into it with, I believe, one of McGregor's entourage on the side, which they tried to hold him back. But what does he do? He jumps over the cage into the crowd, and a brawl breaks out. And then it feeds back into the cage where a tired and beaten Conor McGregor is, where now he's getting punched on. And then the staff and the police, and I think the sheriff's office or whatever, has come into the cage and around the ring to try to calm everything down. Yeah, that's the night we got. To me, a very fun night of fights turned into a brawl, and it will be a black mark on the UFC. It will be a black mark on Khabib, who, let's face it, I know it's a respect thing. I know where you're from. That's how it is. Same thing with Conor McGregor. But the first thing that you don't want to do is mess up your money. Now we don't know if you can be trusted to fight in the UFC without something happening. I don't know where everyone goes from here. I think Khabib Nurmagomedov has a date with Tony Ferguson, who got his win. That'll be a very entertaining fight, I believe. Conor McGregor, got to figure out what he wants to do. Maybe 1 or 2 more money fights in MMA and hang him up. Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier, Kevin Lee, Jose Aldo, whoever. Um, but I can't see him hanging around too much longer just because of the fact that if this showing tonight was any indication for the future, then he needs to get out as soon as possible. So that's all I got for you guys today. Tell me what you think. Did you enjoy the fights? Did you enjoy UFC 229? I know I did. Um, what did you think of how Conor McGregor, Khabib, Tony Ferguson, the Black Beast, Lewis looked in this fight? Hit the like button. Hit that share button. You can share with your friends, and we can bring more people into the community. And most of all, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our channel and hit us up. Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, no Snapchat, Google Plus. And until next time, fight on.